Okay, you're in broadcast,
Yeah.
so you can speak.
Yeah. Shall I start?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Namaste and good afternoon from Nepal. I'm Binod Neufani, currently speaking from a remote area of Nepal, which is 150 kilometers far from Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal. I belong to NELTA, Nepal English Language Teacher Association, a professional organization of all English language teachers of Nepal. I have been teaching English at Marsangdi Multiple Campus and Janavika Secondary School for more than a decade. Now, in Nepal, it is autumn season. I can view a clear image of white Himalayas in the north and ever-flowing river in the south. Uh, First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the entire team of Global Education Forum for this opportunity to be a part of Global Education Forum, representing my country, Nepal. The topic today, let me share my screen. Yes. Okay. The topic, yes. On my presentation is alternative learning facilitation during COVID-19 pandemic in Nepal and its challenges in implementation. I have divided my topic into two halves. In the first half, I will share my experience, especially focusing to the education system of Nepal, supported with some statistics, educational statistics. And in the second half, my presentation will be on the particular topic, that is alternative learning facilitation implemented by the government of Nepal during the COVID-19, and what challenges are there in implementing, and what are some suggestions to reduce or to mitigate these challenges. Okay, let me start. Uh, yeah, headlines of or major highlights of my presentation are education in Nepal, current education indicators in Nepal, learning during crisis of COVID-19 in Nepal, impact of COVID-19 on education in Nepal, students learning facilitation directives, yes, LEFD through alternative system 2020, challenges in implementing SLFD, and finally, suggestion to mitigate the challenges. My presentation will based on these points. Let me start from a brief introduction of my country. Nepal is a federal democratic republican country with area 147,181 square kilometer with 29 million population. The capital city of Nepal is Kathmandu, and it is the home of 125 ethnic groups with who speak 126 languages. And you can say Mount Everest, the roof of the world, is in Nepal. So it is also known as the country of Mount Everest. And below the Mount Everest, there you can see the birthplace of Lord Buddha. Lumini is the birthplace of Lord Buddha. So Nepal is known. Nepal is in the across the world. Nepal is famous for these two important features, like the country of Mount Everest and the country of Lord Buddha. Okay. It's education in Nepal with some themes like educational history of Nepal. Broadly, the educational history of Nepal can be divided into two halves: education before democracy 1951 and education after democracy 1951. The year 1951 is the year the democracy was established for the first time in Nepal by ending the dictator Rana regime. Uh, again, education before democracy can be divided into three periods. Ancient period before 1768, mainly the education during that period was like homeschooling or Gurukul education system. It's a totally traditional education system focused to Sanskrit education. And the second period, 1768 to 1846, it is the period of negligence. Negligence in the sense that the ruler neglected the education because it was the period of unification. Before, Nepal was divided into small states, and there was a unification campaign led by the rulers, late kings, and the focus of the ruler, the attention of the ruler was in unification, and education was neglected during that period. And third, the period of opposition between 1846 and 1951, that is the ruler, it was the period of dictator ruler Rana regime. They ruled 104 years in Nepal, and they were totally opposite of education. Means they did not allow the people to open a school. Okay, so they were in opposition of the opening schools or university like this. So the modern education system in Nepal started after 1951, when democracy was established in Nepal. And after democracy, between 1951 to 1971, many schools open, many children get a chance to go to school, even the university or campus is open, but the education could not be systematic because of some, let's say, political instability. So this period is called the transitional period in education. And after 1971, one education act introduced in Nepal in the name of new education. And since then, the education becomes systematic in Nepal. And what the education practice that we are following these days, it is according to this act, new education policy or new education act, which was started, which was launched in the year 1971 in here. So this is about the historical development of education system in Nepal. Okay, let me compare two data, two statistics of two different periods. In 1951, education in 1951 in Nepal, and education in 2017. So in 1951, there were only 300 schools in Nepal. Okay, there was only one campus, 10,000 students, that covers 1% of the total population, and adult literacy rate was 5% in 1951. And in 2017, there was improvement, more improvement. The number of schools reached 35,222, including both government funded community school and private school. And number of university, 10. Now we have 11 university. Okay, in 2020, 11 university, but in 2017 there were 10 university on 1,400 campuses, and number of the students, 8 million students were there in 2017, and that covered 30% of the total population, and adult literacy rate is 69%. So I took this data from education statistics of the government of Nepal. And okay, talking about organization of education system, the topmost body of education, that is Ministry of Education. And under Ministry of Education, we have two system: higher education, that is the education, especially graduate programs and undergraduate programs. We have two programs under higher education. And school education, under school education, we have basic education and secondary education. Class 1 to class 8, grade 1 to grade 8, it is basic education, and grade 9 to 12, secondary education. Again, secondary education, we have two different streams in secondary stream education. One is general education, and another is technical or vocational education. We have 2 years primary education, and it covers the students with age 3 to 5 years age group. This is not include. It is not included in formal education. Formal in Nepal, formal education started from grade 1. Okay, grade 1, and the age group, the children from 5 years old, they start the formal education, and from grade 1 to grade 8 it is basic level, and the age group is 5 to 13 years. And secondary level, 9 to 12 grades, and 14 to yes, 14 to 70 years age group students study in secondary level. Talking about higher education system, undergraduate, that is 3 years to 4 to 5 years, it depend on the streams, especially the technical education. It is a little bit longer than the general education. And we have 2 years master's degree, 1.5 years MPhil degree, and 3 years or plus PhD degree. So this is about higher education. So let me present statistics with bar graph. So still today, about 5% children, they are out of school. Okay, according to the statistics in 2017, so 6.58% girls and 3.8% boys, they are out of school. And in 2016, the number was 2.86% boys and 3.62% girls. It shows that all the students, they are not involved, or they are still out of school, and there are different reasons. And the most important reason, or the main reason behind such a large number of students is still out of school, is mainly the socio-economic cause. Okay, poverty is there, socio-economic region is there. This is and especially the children from marginalized group or backward community, low socio backgrounds, they are out of school even today. According to World Bank report 2016, the net enrollment rate in secondary education grew from 44.9% in 2000 to 60.4% in 2015, before dropping down again to 54.4% in 2016 due to the 2015 earthquake. Okay, in 2015, the net enrollment rate in secondary level was 60.4%, but in 2016 the percentage went down to 54.4. It is mainly because there was massive disasters, earthquake in 2015, and thousands of schools were destroyed by the earthquake. Thousands of houses were collapsed because of earthquake, so people's migrated from one place to another place. Because of that disaster, the enrollment rate of that year went down. So there is good improvement in gender parity index in Nepal. Gender parity index for school enrollment jumped from 0.17 to 1.08 between 1973 and 2016, meaning that female entry rates in education improved from being marginal at best to females now enrolling at slightly higher rates than males. That shows that gradually the number of female students, the numbers of girls are increasing in schools and university. If we see the present scenario, we can see many girls and many girls in schools and university than boys. Okay, so only 76.8% of people that enroll in elementary education survived until the last grade of elementary education in 2050. This shows that there is a high number of dropout rate in Nepal. The students who enroll in class 1 at the end of the elementary level, that means 1 to 5 class, at the end of 5 class, only 76.8% people could survive. And again, the situation of secondary level is again worse. That is, the completion rate in lower secondary education, that is grade 8, stands at 69.7% in 2016 and drops sharply. Only 24.5% students could survive in class 12 in 2016. So out of the students who enrolled in class 1, okay, when they reach in class 12, their percentage or their number went down, to only 24.5%. That is, a large number of students, they come out from the school from 1 to during the period of class grade 1 to grade 12. This shows that there is a high dropout rate, and the main reasons for high dropout rate in Nepal is mainly the distance between school and their residence. Okay, especially for secondary level, the students, they have to go a little bit further from their village or from their residence, and this is one reason. Poverty is another reason, and the girls, especially the girls, are involved in household works like taking care of the small kids at home. Okay, so many girls, they leave the school, so there is more dropout rate of girls. And early marriage, yes, that is, early marriage is also another reason. And according to one report, that 30% girls, got married in 2000 report. According to 2018, 13% girls married below the age 18, and 10% girls get married below the age 15. See the situation. So there is more early marriage system in Nepal. It is somehow related to rituals or social, a kind of a tradition. And that is also the reason behind the high dropout rate in school education. Okay. Plus enrollment rate for secondary education by sex, in 2000 up to until 2011, in Nepalese schools, the boys used to be more than girls. And the statistics, the data changed in 2013. In 2013, the number of girls increased. The number of girl was higher than boy, and gradually the girls number increased. And in 2019, more girls, 83% girls, and only 78% boys in school. So this gross enrollment rate for girls is 83%, and the gross enrollment rate of boys is 78% in 2019. It shows that data shows that more girls are there in schools, or more girls enrollment rate there in secondary education. And the case is similar in tertiary level or university level. Okay. uh, Here, in tertiary education by sex, uh, in 2011, 13, and 15, the number of boys was more in comparison compared to the girls. And in 2017, it equals number. Okay, the boys and the girls in university education, the number was equal. But in 2019, the females, the students, the number of female students is slightly higher in comparison to the number of male students. And the reason behind this increasing number of girls is many universities, they extended their programs, higher education programs, up to the rural areas, and the girls from the rural areas, they get a chance to get enrolled in actually undergraduate programs. So the number of students in different level is Nepal university students. Nepal is in bachelor level 89.28% students are there, and in master level 11.26%. From bachelor level to master level, there is a vast difference. It is mainly there are many bachelor level colleges, or some university extends their program even in rural areas. But for the master's level, the students, they have to go to the district headquarters or semi urban areas or center areas. So all the students, they may not have access to go to urban areas for master's degree. Again, very few number of students in MPhil, PGD or PhD, because these programs are only limited in center, not in the peripheral area. Okay, so the reason behind the number of students in PhD or MPhil is because these institution, the institution which runs such programs, they are only limited in the center, in the capital, not in other areas. Okay. uh, Another uh, point in Nepal education system, especially in higher education, is the students' mobility in abroad for higher education is being very popular in Nepal. Many students for the higher education, they prefer to go to foreign countries abroad, especially Australia, India, the USA, Japan, the UK, China, and many European countries. Okay, they Nepal is the third largest student sending country in Australia after China and India. And number of international degree seeking students from Nepal between 2013 to 2017. Let's compare. In 2013, 32,241 students. They went to abroad country for higher education. In 2014, 35,747. The number reached 40,557 in 2015. Again in 2016, 44,257, and 2017, 44,256,000. And many students, they prefer to the international universities, mainly because of the quality of education. They think the universities Nepal, they cannot provide such quality compared to the countries of developed, university of developed country. Another is scholarship programs. Many universities, they get admission to the Nepalese students because but they offer scholarship program, and third reason is employment, and they want to make their career fit for the international job market. Okay, so because of this reason, the youth, especially in higher education, many students in Nepal, they prefer they have interest to get enrollment in the university abroad. Okay. uh, Students, so talking about the evaluation system in Nepal, from grade 1 to grade 7, it is continuous assessment system. Students are assessed, or students are evaluated on the basis of their regular progress. Okay, and at the end of grade 12, there is a school leaving certificate examination. The National Education Board conduct a school leaving certificate examination, and then only they after passing school leaving certificate examination, they can join the university. Every university has their one evaluation system, and later grading system is being popular in Nepal. Many school, many universities they use a letter grading system, and a school level education system, and it is totally the letter grading, evaluated in terms of letter grading system. So talking about medium of instruction, Nepali and English, the two languages are the major main languages for medium instruction. However, there are many mother tongues, and some schools they run mother tongue education with their first language, but it's still there are many problems of teachers, problems of curriculum or textbook in providing education in mother tongue. Mother tongue means other than Nepali language. Nepali is the contract language in Nepal, and mother tongues like different ethnic groups, they have their one language. And these days, English as a medium instruction is being popular in almost all the private schools. They use English as a medium of instruction, and many university also use English as a medium of instruction. However, the community schools, especially government-funded community schools, they are also motivating towards English medium instruction, and many schools are gradually shifting to English medium instruction from Nepali medium instruction. Although there is a debate whether English medium instruction is good or not. Okay, people are talking about it's for and against. Another is technical and vocational education and training. It is also being popular in Nepal because of the unemployment problem. Okay, and almost all the teachers in the government schools, they are trained, because the training is a basic requirement while getting enrolled in the government school, especially the government funded community schools. However, in private schools, some teachers, even today, some teachers are untrained, but majority of the teachers, almost all the teachers in government schools, they are trained. And basic education, that means class grade 1 to grade 8, it is compulsory education in Nepal, and secondary education is free education in Nepal. Yes, there are some issues. I have collected some issues that is, always discussion in education forum. Talking about the school structure in new federal structures. So how schools are structured in the new federal system, and what is the role of central government, and what is the role of let's say the local government in school structure, designing course curriculum. So it's still the structure of a school in the new federal structure, new federal system, it is not still clear. And there are unemployment. That means many educated people are unemployed. That means our education system cannot generate the job. So it is a general focus. Most of the youth, okay, they get a general education system, and they have certificate but not skill. This is another problem. And education, say education system divide the society into two groups, say have or have not. The schools, especially the elite group, socio-economically higher level people, they afford huge amount of money for, in their children's education. Especially the expensive private schools are for the children from socio-economic high class people, and the government funded schools, community schools, that is for the marginalized people, backwarded people, or socio-economically low class people. Because of that reason, there is inequality, there is discrimination in education. Okay, rich school and poor school, like this. And policy and practices, still it is not clear because of the political influence over the education system. And another important things that is not even today in Nepalese education system, research hasn't on the occupy the good position. That means very little role of research in education. Research and education, it is not good coordination, which is very much essential in education. In the field of education, research is very important, but in Nepalese education system, it has not got a good position. And yes, medium of instruction, it is still in debate whether English as a medium instruction or Nepali as a medium instruction or mother tongue education. And exams, topic about the exam system, even today the exam system is like traditional paper pencil kind of exam system, okay, testing system. So these are some of the issues in the field of education in Nepal. Okay, what are the current practices in education improvement? So the government has paid attention to vocational education through annex program, and SSDP, School Sector Development Plan 2016-17 to 22-23. This is a good project in Nepal in collaboration with Nepal government, World Bank, and many other international donor agencies. And the focus of SSDP, School Sector Development Plan, is that is pre-primary schools, that is early child development, focus on basic education, secondary education, higher education, informal education, okay, and then financing to improve the education system. Okay, this project has been working here. And higher education project for the higher education, university education, and education act, new education act is being activating to improve the education system. So there are some practices to in order to improve the education system of Nepal. Now, in the second phase, my presentation will be on learning during crisis of COVID-19. So the first case of COVID-19 was formally identified in Nepal on January. January 25, 2020, the government of Nepal imposed lockdowns throughout the country from 24 March 2020, and it lasted until 21 July 2020. Even after the lockdown, schools, even today, schools are closed. And recently, after 8 months, the government of Nepal has decided to open its schools and university, maintaining some health protocols. UNDP has recently estimated that 86% of the children from low human development countries are not receiving education due to the COVID-19 pandemic, compared to only 20% of children in developed countries. In Nepal, UNESCO estimates that nearly 9 million students in Nepal are affected due to school or university closure in response to pandemic. So a large number of students, they are affected by COVID-19, and the increased unemployment and loss of income of families due to COVID-19 affect the learning opportunity of children from lower socioeconomic background in Nepal. A few students have access of alternative learning, including online learning and learning through electronic media, which can increase dropout rate. Okay, when there is a face-to-face interaction or face-to-face classroom was obstructed, the government introduced different alternative mode of learning, but the access in alternative mode of learning, including online learning or digital learning, the students from low socioeconomic background, they do not have access. As a result, many students, there is a chance of chance of increasing dropout rate even during COVID and even after COVID. Ministry of Education has developed a learning portal with digital contents like ebooks, audio and video classroom lessons in grade-wise radio and TV programs. And radio programs is one of the most effective means to disseminate information among rural as well as urban population, followed by television, social media, and print media. This is according to the Sharecast Initiative Nepal's report. About 300 FM radio radio station, they are broadcasting classes based on the curriculum, especially 1 to 10 classes throughout the country, and many students they get benefit from that radio programs. So radio program is being popular and effective in the context of Nepal, and around 56% people listen to the radio for awareness message. This is also from the report of Sharecast Initiative Nepal 2020. Okay. Talking about the impact of COVID-19 on education in Nepal, yes, when many schools and universities remain closed for long, definitely many students, about 9 million students, get affected from COVID-19. Many schools and many campus buildings were used for quarantine and isolation center. The government used campus buildings and school buildings for quarantine and isolation center, and there was a gap between students and teacher, not face-to-face connection between students and teacher for long, for 8 months. And the government searched for alternative means, alternative mode of learning instead of face-to-face learning, and that is dramatically increase in online learning, especially in urban areas. Many schools, many private schools, private universities, and some government funded community schools also use online learning, especially in urban areas, but the access of online learning in rural area is very, very low. A few students get opportunity of online learning, a large number of them have no access. The situation has created inequality in education, because the students from high class, people, high class family, they have the access of online learning, whereas the children from low socioeconomic class, they do not have. So this divide, or this can digital, there is the inequality in education because of digital technology or online technology, and there is psychological impact in students learning. Yes, let me share one example, one very emotional examples, that there are cases of suicide of the students when they cannot get the devices, a good smart mobiles or laptop. When the demand for a laptop and demand for a good smart mobile phone, as their school started online courses, but their parents could not afford for them. As a result, there are some cases of suicide. So such kind of situation is also there in Nepal because of let's say economic problem, we can say. More access for teachers, virtual training, this is the positive impact of COVID-19. Many teachers, they took part in virtual training on digital literacy and ICT. Many teachers get skills, learn skill of information communication technology during this period. Okay. Children from rural and backward communities and girls are more victims from school closure. And another important part that I have highlighted here is digital learning has created inequality in access to education. Nepal, like any other low economic countries, has a big gap among its citizens in terms of their socio-economic and education literacy background. The existing system of education and uneven, okay, the existing system of education and uneven distribution of its resources have often been blamed for the widening gaps between the haves or have not. Because of digital technology, the students are divided into haves, those who can afford for digital technology, and who can't afford for digital technology. Right? So it creates a kind of inequality in students. And similarly, students who live in urban area and those from rural area, and between the rich and poor, can barely afford the access the internet. Okay, in a rural area, and the students rarely get the access of internet, but in urban area there is more chances of getting internet, especially economic background of the parents. That is also another things. In the context of Nepal, dropout rate may raise mainly for two different reasons. First, many parents have lost their job due to the pandemic, and their economic crisis has worsened than ever before. The second, Nepal's economy is largely dependent on foreign employment. A large number of families in Nepal depend on the remittance, but this pandemic has badly affected abroad jobs, forcing people to lose their jobs and return to Nepal. The situation might also lead to a higher dropout rate in Nepal. So in this way, digital learning has created inequality in access to education. Some alternative practices for learning, despite the COVID-19, homeschooling practice, that is self learning. The government provided some self learning materials, um, and the parents are make responsible to take care or to facilitate the children's at home. And virtual learning or online learnings, radio and television education, and community learning centers. That means yeah, the children from our community gather in a place, and the teachers from the local teachers, or the teachers from the same community, or some volunteers from the same community facilitate the children in a learning centers. Okay, in different communities there are different learning centers to facilitate the students, to facilitate the children's. um, this is also one practice. And the literacy level of the parents, students interest in alternative learning, equitable programs in socially, culturally, and geographically diverse country are the adult questions in administering the alternative modes of education. Students with learning disability may face other problems. Though lots of the alternatives developed, I will discuss later one. And but Because there are many factors that become the challenge to implement these alternatives. For example, the literacy rate of the parents, socio-economic condition. Okay, and all the childrens, they are not same, especially the children who have different learning capacity. For example, who can't see or who can't hear. So how can we facilitate them? So this create the problems in implementing alternatives mode of learning in the context of Nepal. And continue the obstructed learning system due to COVID-19, and to facilitate the children in learning process until the school regime, the government of Nepal under Ministry of Education, uh, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has developed students learning facilitation directives through alternative. Okay, students learning facilitation directives through alternative system 2020. To implement the directives, students are classified into 5 categories in terms of their access in technology. Okay, in the first category, students group beyond the access of all sorts of technology. The students who do not have any kind of technology, they are grouped in the first group. And in the second group, the students with the access of radio and FM radio. Okay, just they have radio and FM radio, not television, not computer, just radio and FM radio. Third group, students group with the access of TV, those who have access of TV. And in the fourth group, those who have the access of computer but not online connectivity. And in the final group, fifth group, students with access of internet and online. In this way, the students are grouped in every school, in every community. Students are grouped into 5, and then the different roles are different roles are assigned to the teachers. Parents are made responsible to facilitate them. For example, For example, for the first group, students group beyond the access of all sorts of technologies, the roles of the teachers are to provide a textbook and self-learning materials to students, identify the conditions and capacity of the parents, and coordinate the local youths to facilitate in learning, children learning, make parents, it is in the directives, it is noted in the directive, make parents responsible to facilitate and create learning environment at home, give homework to students and ask them to keep the record of their homework and project work. For the students with the access of radio and FM radio, the role of the teacher is assigned in this way. The teacher inform about the radio programs and communicate regularly with parents about their children involvement in radio education, provide some questions and project work and ask them to listen to the radio programs and do the activities, contact the students either face to face or through telephone and interact with their problems, motivate the parents to support and monitor their children's radio education. And similarly, the students with a group of television who have only the access of television, we have only the access of computer but not online connectivity, and we have access of internet. Different roles of the teachers are assigned, and the teachers work, the teacher perform their roles according to the assigned assigned roles. For example, for the last group, the students with the internet and online, the role of the teacher is like send messages through mobile apps or messenger about their daily activities, okay, create virtual groups and conduct online classes, have interaction and collect their homework from email, messenger group, and give feedback. So the main purpose of directive is to mitigate the educational loss of the school students due to long lockdowns. The government of Nepal has expected to implement students learning facilitation through alternative system in collaboration with local government, schools, teachers, non-government organizations, and teachers professional organization. And these directives aim to connect teachers and students through the possible means and make the parents and all the stakeholders responsible in children learning process. Yes, based on these directives, as a teacher and teacher educator, I carried out on survey, and my observation through the survey, what I found in a survey is in rural area community school, especially the schools, community schools, that means the government funded community schools in rural area, 35% of the students are beyond the access of all sorts of technology. See the situation, 35% students, they neither have the access of radio, FM radio, television, computer, or online, without any technological support. And 45% of them have access of radio and television. 15% of them have computer without internet connectivity. They have computer but not internet connectivity. And only 5%, see, only 5% of them have access for online learning. See the situation. In urban area, yes, community schools, especially in urban area community schools, 55% of the students have access of online learning, and 10% of them have no access of all sorts of technologies. So this is the difference in rural area schools and urban schools. And comparatively, I compare the access of this technology in private school students and community school students. Private school students have more access in online and digital technology compared to community school students. Survey on access of online learning, especially schools access in online learning. In rural schools, only 5% schools they have access of online learning, and in semi-urban schools 25% schools they have access, and in urban area 55% schools they run their classes using online technology. And similarly, 70% private schools they have access of online learning, whereas only 30% community schools they have access of online learning. Another in terms of this data shows the social background of the children, especially in terms of caste. Brahmin, Kshetri, they are called high caste people, and Dalits, they are called low caste people. So usually Brahmin, Kshetris, 65% children from Brahmin and Kshetri community, they are called high caste people. Yes, they have 65% children from that community have access of online learning, whereas 25% from ethnic groups and only 10% children from Dalits. They are marginalized, they are backwarded community. Only 10% children, they have access of online learning. So yes, there are some challenges in implementing alternative learning facilities. Although the government has developed these directives, but there are problems and there are challenges in implementing these directives. For example, it is difficult to engage students in self-learning activities due to psychological terror of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, the students, they have psychological fear, psychological terror, and how can we involve them in learning? Another is the literacy level of the parents. More than 30% parents, they are illiterate. And how can parents support or facilitate them in self-learning at home? Home is especially in home is focusing to homeschooling during COVID-19. And another reason is socio-economic status of the parents. This is also challenging factors, that because of their low socio-economic status, they cannot afford for devices like smart mobile or other electronic and technical devices. And because of lockdown, there is a difficult to make a regular contact between teacher and students, and difficult to manage digital tools like radio, television, computers, and online learning devices for low economic status children and children from rural and semi-urban area. And digital literacy, there is another problem, the digital literacy problem of digital literacy for teachers and students, especially to handle online. Many teachers, they have problem how to use Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams, etc. And poor connectivity, yes, this is another challenging factor. In Nepal, that is internet connectivity is very poor, and there is frequent power cut. Okay, ineffective for students with different learning capacities, students who do not have who are not normal students, means the students who can see, the students who can't hear, and this kind of alternatives learning facilitation techniques, that may not work for such students. And same radio or television lesson may not be appropriate for all students. For example, the government radio or government television, other private sector television channels, FM radios, they broadcast radio education or television education, but for the students who are in remote area or rural schools, and who are in advanced school in city, and the same class may not be appropriate for the students. Another is medium instruction is also a problem. Some students, they learn in English medium, and other students, they learn in Nepali medium or mother tongue. So the radio programs or the television programs developed in one language may not be appropriate for the students who have who have been learning in different language. That is medium instruction is also a challenging factor here. And finally, I have some suggestion to mitigate the challenge. How can we minimize these challenges? The crisis has given a chance from traditional face-to-face learning. Okay, this is the crisis, and the crisis have chances to shift the traditional mode of education to the modern way. Okay, and education needs to be flexible and situation based, and classes should be made accessible to all these active ones. all the stakeholders should be made responsible. The patterns of curriculum and school level course needs to be changed pragmatically and to meet the local interest and resources. Teaching in community by mobilizing the teachers and volunteers locally seems to be an appropriate mode in rural areas. And the coordinated roles of the three-tier government, non-governmental, and private sector is pivotal in coping with the educational crisis. Only the government can't support or can't work, or only one sector can't work. So there should be the good coordination, good cooperation, government, non-government, and private sector organizations. And finally, teachers should be empowered with digital literacy. So these are some suggestions. And in in conclusion, we can say that in conclusion, the school's closure causes a loss of learning opportunity for children from disadvantaged families, especially the girls and marginalized group. In context, uh, the government developed the government plan to support the students even during the crisis by making different strategies to facilitate the students. And however, there are many challenges. If all the stakeholders become responsible, and the challenges can be minimized, and the students, even during the COVID or other crises, there may be other crises in future, the system can work. And yes, this much for my presentation. If you have any queries, thank you. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Binod. And I got some comments, but there is no questions. There is just thanks to you for your presentation. And people tell us that your problems you answered us are actual in these countries too. Problems with COVID-19 crisis and education. So they tell us thank you for this presentation and your speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind cooperation, technical support, and technical operation. Thank you, Evgeny. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you. I stop broadcasting now.
Yes. Thank you so much.